Hello, Internet. I think I didn't give myself the beat on that one. Okay. Hello, Internet, and welcome to Say Report Jr., a podcast you should be listening to, subscribe to, and downloading every week.
He's
For the
back in the Ocean State. Yeah,
God,
he's back in the Ocean
I
State.
was
Yeah.
just about to say, literally, the next words out of my mouth were going to be for the first time from the same time zone, from the same state, and still
Crazy.
having not met each other yet.
I know.
It's your co-host companions. It's me, Zach Sarowick.
And me, Dayle Decker.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was either gonna be that or guess who's back again. Zack is back. Tell a friend. I'm happy I got to do both.
That's the last major MTV event I watched, by the way. Dating myself was when Shady's Back came out. They did a whole thing. It was like, you know how, maybe you don't know, actually, I'm about to
know.
really make myself feel old. Every time, there were two things that MTV and VH1 would make giant events out of. One was Michael Jackson's birthday, or if he was putting an album out.
Mm-hmm. Well, that makes sense.
The other one was when Weird Al was putting an album out.
That also
They would
makes
make
sense.
day-long events out of those things where they would show, like for Weird Al especially, it was, we're going to premiere the entire album by showing you the music videos he's created for like all of his parody videos, and then they would end on the glorious polka for whatever he put in.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Weird Al polkas, by the way, are probably some of the greatest musical achievements of the 20th century.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
Those medleys are fucking fantastic. To take an accordion and polka music and be like, here's all of the top 40 hits that I couldn't think of a parody song for. We're just going to create a medley for them. It's so fantastic. And the music videos are great because he would just recreate the music videos as he switched from song to song. Like he would just, so good.
Yeah, the first polka I saw was the whatever year Wrecking Ball came out.
Yes.
That was the first one I ever.
I think that's his last or second to last album then, because that's not an old song.
Well, because I always loved, I always knew Weird Al growing up and loved Weird Al growing up, but I had never known about all of the polkas. And then Devin played it, or I saw it online or something, and I was like, he has more of these? These are fantastic.
They're so good. It's so weird because for years, Weird Al was, as a joke, the parody song guy.
Yeah.
And to the point where people found him annoying to some points with his parody songs. The thing is, people didn't realize that every album he put out was only 50% those parody songs. The other 50% were crazy original songs that he wrote. And then the polka. And that polka is so good. I cannot express how good, how hard it is to transition, when you really think of it from a music theory standpoint, because it's not like those songs are all written in the same key. It's not like those songs are all written to the same beat, and yet he somehow makes them work. The last one he did actually was, I know, Dale's going to groan the second I say this, everybody, so let's see if we hear it. He did a Hamilton polka for Lin-Manuel. There it is! Yep, I knew it was going to come. Yes.
I did see that. I did not watch it, but I did see it.
It's the only version of Hamilton music I've ever actually listened to. I haven't sat down and listened to the album for Hamilton yet. I have listened to the polka 1,000 times.
I know all the songs that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they're so good, and it's because it's funny too that, well, you know the 4 chords song, the Axis of Awesome 4 chords.
Oh my God,
song,
yes.
Right?
Oh my God,
so,
yes. I love that song.
That song is fantastic.
That song is fantastic because it drags Green Day, my favorite band of all time, and yet it drags Green Day for Basket Case because it puts Basket Case and the theme song to Friends are the same chord progression, and I want that mashup so badly.
That's awesome. Green Day is your favorite band of all time?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, I learned every bass part to American Idiot when I was in high school because
Wow.
that song came out when I was a junior and it spoke to me on a deep spiritual level.
Well, there you go. I mean, I think that warrants them to be your favorite band of all time.
Oh,
And I think that's what American Idiot kind of did for a lot of
it
people.
did for a lot of people who were 15 years old when that
Yeah.
album came out.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it was the prime, I need this song. I needed this song.
Yeah, I needed every song, every song I heard on that album. I remember it coming out, and every song I heard was this song is amazing. No, wait, this song is amazing. No, wait, this song is
Nice.
fucking amazing.
I can't wait to have an entire episode dedicated
Oh my
to
God!
music.
All you're gonna hear about
with
is gonna be
us.
me talking about Green Day and Even If It Kills Me by Motion City Soundtrack. The only two things I care about in music. Uh,
Oh, that's gonna be fun.
oh,
Oh my god. Weird
can you
Al?
tell by the way that I have taken like 5 days of driving across the country and I'm a little punch drunk from like the whole thing? Oh
No,
my
not at all. What are you talking about? You took 5 days to drive across the country.
4. Well, I have to do the math again because I took one day to drive to Denver and then I drove across the country.
Yep.
So maybe 4 or 5. I don't remember. But anyway, let's get back to Weird Al. That's way more interesting.
We'll get to your trip. No, the last thing I had about Weird Al was like I went and saw him in concert, and that's a weird, fantastic concert to
You
go
have no
to.
idea how jealous I am right now. I've seen the Philharmonic and Steven Spielberg live, and I want to see Weird Al more.
The Philharmonic kind of. I would love to see the.
I got to see John Williams in the Philharmonic, and like Stephen Williams. God, Steven Spielberg was there in the audience, and they did like
Oh,
a
wow.
whole sequence where they showed the opening to Last Crusade with like young Indy, and they were like, "Here's the scene without music," and they showed everything that whole
Yeah.
like 5 minute scene, and they're like, "Here's the scene again, but with music," and then the Philharmonic played the music for that scene.
See, that's. I would
Just
love
as a way
go
to
that.
just as a way to be like, hey, music's important in film, everybody.
I just need to circle back to the fact you were in the same room as Steven Spielberg.
Not a room. So what they did, what's it
Auditorium,
called?
theater.
What's it called? Well, it was an amphitheater, but I can't remember. Tanglewood. That's what it is. So Tanglewood in Massachusetts, the Philharmonic would play there. It's like this huge like campsite and outdoor theater and all that. So what there is the amphitheater with seats and then a whole outside area where people could come and like put down like blankets and stuff. So we were on the outside of this building of this like outdoor amphitheater sitting on the ground, had a little wine, got to watch this thing. It was great. So so in the amphitheater you had the Philharmonic playing and then like Steven Spielberg in the front row, and they did like this whole thing about like the music of Steven Spielberg and John Williams. It was it was great.
That's cool. But still,
That's what
but
NPR.
still you want to see
Massachusetts
Weird Al
gets it.
more.
But I want to see Weird Al more. Oh hell yeah! Oh fuck yes! I want to see Weird Al more.
Yeah, I would see him again. It was a fantastic concert. Jeez.
I will say before we move on from Weird Al, the 3 best original Weird Al songs, in my opinion,
Yep.
Since You've Been Gone, The Night Santa Went Crazy, and Everything You Know Is Wrong.
Yep.
Look up those 3 songs from Weird Al, everybody, because they're all fantastic.
Perfect.
And then just literally look up every polka he's ever done.
Yes. Yeah.
Because they are just the greatest like little time capsules of whatever time he put those out, and they're fucking brilliant.
They're beautiful. They're just so good.
Ugh.
Oh man. So, should we end with your journey?
We'll get there. I mean, we'll work on it. I mean, so the only thing, so here's the thing. I think we'll actually end up talking about my journey more on, whenever we decide to record the next hot topic, because the most like exciting thing, I shouldn't say exciting. That's a boring way to say I'm a boring person.
Aw.
I'm about to say every day I listen to the same album.
Hey, that's fine because I do that a lot too.
My number one, literally, I didn't realize this really until very recently, but I think my number one album of all time, and so far has not been topped, is Even If It Kills Me by Motion City Soundtrack. And I have a lot to say about that, and we'll talk about it someday. But I listen to that
Eventually.
top to bottom every day.
Oh wow.
It's
Okay.
only like 45 minutes, but like
Yeah.
if there was a time where I was like, I'm bored of listening to my podcast, I'm bored of the radio, give me 45 minutes of just that, I'm gonna listen to this
Yeah.
and like reset myself. That was the album I put on.
Yeah. No, that totally makes sense. I
um,
I understand that completely.
but yeah, I drove across the country recently. I think I marginally talked about this where I lost my job and went back to Rhode Island, all this stuff.
Yes. Yep.
So
Oh, we covered. Yeah, we
I
covered
covered
your.
a little bit.
Yeah.
So the last like I shouldn't say last, I've been home for like 3 days now, but from Thursday of last week to Monday. So let's see, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So it was about 5 days, but um, the only reason it took me 5 days is because the first day I drove to Denver, which is like a straight north shot from where I used to live, because from there it was easier to drive east. You know, when it became negative 60 degrees going across the country.
Oh God.
God. So I was like, I was like, you know what I'm gonna do? This has been a very weird month for me, everybody. This month started with my car dying at a truck stop in Pueblo, Colorado.
Yep.
I do not remember how much of this I've talked about at this podcast before anymore.
Oh, we went. You.
Did we go? Oh, yeah, we did.
We
We
went
went
through
through the
it
whole
all.
journey. Okay.
Yeah,
so,
we did the whole journey.
Go back and find that episode. I'm sure it was like 4 weeks ago now. 4 episodes ago. You could probably hear that whole journey. So
It's worth
it.
It is worth a listen.
So I ended up needing to pack up all my stuff and move across the country. And so I decide the first thing I'm going to do is drive up to Denver first and then head east from there, just because I did not want to go across Texas. Nobody should ever have to drive across Texas. This is your warning. Texas is god awful. And this is not me being mean because I'm from New England. This is me saying Texas is the Australia of America. And by what I mean by that,
Okay.
there every now and then, like people will talk about Australia and like, oh, here's a roadside from Australia where it says like the next gas station is 850 miles away or kilometers away. And you go, oh God, that sounds awful. Y'all try to drive across Texas. When I drove out to New Mexico the first time, I ended up, my whole last day out of a 3-day journey was that I was going to drive across Texas. So I crossed over in Waco, which is on the eastern side of the eastern tip, like everybody knows kind of the shape of Texas, how it's got that those like two corners. So I crossed at like that eastern corner, and it took me 13 hours to drive across the state to El Paso on the western corner. And there are parts of that state where it is 300 miles before another gas station shows up. And even though it's an interstate, it is a 2-lane road through nothing, just flat nothing. And so I was like, fuck that. I am going north to Denver, and I'll go east from there. And guess what, everybody? Karma hated me for that.
Oh, no.
I start heading north on an interstate in New Mexico, and Google Maps, in its infinite wisdom, is like, hey, get on this highway off the interstate because it'll cut like 20 minutes off your trip. And that whole highway was flat nothing for hours at a time.
That's incredible.
And then it takes me through Pueblo, Colorado, where I lived for 3 days by accident. And I stopped at the same fucking truck stop where my car died. And then it's like, here, it's an hour and a half to Denver. I was like, fuck it, I'm going to Denver. I'm out of here. And I ran.
I gotta get out, Pueblo. I gotta get out. I can't
I can't live in Pueblo, Colorado. Although I did get a view of Pueblo. I did get before, so like, because I was coming from the north, I hit this truck stop that's like literally like at the northern tip of Pueblo, and I was stuck there, and I was stuck within walking distance. So as far as I knew, Pueblo was like 3 strip malls and a couple of motels. That's all I knew about Pueblo. And then when I got on the bus, it was like 10 o'clock at night, and I was exhausted. So I basically slept my way out of Pueblo the first time. I was driving in, And Google Maps is like, you're in Pueblo now. I was like, this is neighborhoods. This is neighborhoods and city. What are you talking? This isn't Pueblo. What are you talking about? This is Pueblo. I don't know what this is. Pueblo is apparently 5 times larger than
Wow.
real life.
Wow. I feel like you were all. It was all just a blur though too, because you were just
Oh, it
like this
was. I was
sucks.
so tired by the time I left Pueblo the first time that I was like, none of this is
Yeah.
real.
Yeah.
This isn't
This
real.
is this is fantasy.
And then I go from Denver and I go right into Kansas. And it's
Wait.
like Kansas is fucking nothing. There's nothing in Kansas, everybody. I went from Denver to Kansas City, which is on the other side of Kansas for the first day. And I was like, "Oh my god, it's flat and it's nothing." And it's, "Oh my
I
god,
was
what
trying
is
to
this?
avoid this.
Oh my god, this country is nothing but flatland. How did Superman care about human beings out here? There's nothing out here."
Oh, oh my god.
How did
Well, he
anybody
grew up there. I'm sure if you grew
apparently
up in Kansas,
I mean,
you'd be
well,
like,
I
it's
mean,
gorgeous. You have no idea what you're talking
see,
about.
but here's the thing. My only view of Kansas was Smallville, and Smallville was filmed in Vancouver. So, like,
Oh,
quite frankly, I didn't know any landmarks of what I was seeing.
all right. That different
Then I go
now.
from there, and go through Lexington. I go into Kentucky, but I get there through Indiana and Indianapolis. It's like a whole thing.
Jeez.
Oh man. Lexington was fine. I did stop at like the weirdest Courtyard Marriott ever because like I walk in and I didn't realize I was in the lobby because like you kind of walk into their cafe when you walk into this
Oh,
Marriott.
yeah,
And
okay.
so I thought I walked into a side door by accident.
Yep.
I kind of wandered around the halls of this hotel in the middle of Kentucky, kind of like, where do I go? So I want a room. Who wants to give me a room? And finally, I
Start
realized
knocking
what
on
it is
doors.
is that like I walked in and there's like when I walked in there was like a couple of little desks and then it said like business center where you print out your boarding passes and the gym are this way and then the thing this way. There's two little desks were where you go to like get a room. There just wasn't anybody standing there when I walked in the door.
Got you. That's so
So
funny.
so I go in and I get a room and then I'm like, "Oh, okay, I should get like food from this cafe that is supposedly open, except that there's no one standing at this cafe either." So I sit there for like 10, 15 minutes like I want some food. I've been driving all day.
Please, please
Please,
give me some
please give
food.
me something.
Oh my god.
And eventually some guy comes out of nowhere. I didn't even realize he worked there because he just had like a tiny little name tag on what was his regular clothes. And he's like, oh, hey, you want a drink and some food? Like, yes, please, give me anything. And then I like got to sit there and watch him make my cafe hotel food, which was a weird experience because I'm pretty certain he pulled everything out of like a cooler that was just in front of me as he
Oh,
was putting it together and then like stuck it in like a blast heater. Oh,
well, that's what you get when you eat
that's
at
what
a
happens when
hotel, though.
yeah, that's true. That's true.
I
It's
mean,
so funny because like as I'm driving across the country, I'm like, I need to find a hotel with just food in it because
yes.
I have a U-Haul. I can't take a U-Haul to a restaurant. I can't decide
I
I
mean,
want to
you
go into
could.
town. I don't want to go into town and just paint the town of Kansas City red with my U-Haul that I need to find parking for everybody. Oh, so
My
yeah, so the next night
gosh.
I ended up in Kansas City, or no, it's Kansas City first night, Kentucky, and then I ended up in Maryland for the Super Bowl. This is the
Oh,
best part.
oh,
So
oh
far
my.
I have been staying in regular, I say regular, I mean like chain hotels.
Yes.
No, first night in Denver, I stay at a friend's house. First night in Kansas City, I stay at like an extended stay. Second night, I stay at the Courtyard Marriott. When I am looking for a place to stay in Maryland, because I'm like, I can get like halfway home, and then my drive home won't be so bad on Monday. This is fine. Where do I stay? And I'm looking for places that have like restaurants in them so I don't have
Hmm.
to go anywhere. And they're like, oh, the Grand Plaza Hotel. It's like, oh, that's not a chain, but sure, it's got a restaurant, a lounge. It'll be great. I think this hotel was built last week.
Oh my god.
I think I'm one of 5 people that were renting a room, and there's a whole hotel.
Like, you
and
lived like an episode of Twilight Zone, I feel. Like, you just walk into these empty hotels. Although, usually when I walk into a hotel, I feel like no one else is there. Because it's like,
here's the thing.
this
Here's
is
the thing.
terrifying. Hotels are weird.
I walk into this hotel in Maryland, and I walk up to the counter. There's no one there.
Jesus.
And there's no bell to ring.
Oh, my.
So I'm
That's
just
amateur.
standing. I'm just standing in the lobby of this hotel. Very nice lobby. Very nice place to stay. All in all, great experience. It was just weird when I walked in and like there's a fire going in the fireplace. There's some seats around and there's just no one. And I'm like, how do I yell? Do I go knocking on doors? What do I do? And eventually some guy comes out in like a hoodie and jeans who looked like he'd been sitting in like an office all day with just no one to talk to. And he comes out, and at first I see him coming down the hallway, and I'm like, oh, that's just another person in the hotel. They're clearly not who I'm looking for. And so I turn around and kind of pace around and then I pace around the lobby a little bit, and then I turn around, and that guy is standing behind the counter. And I'm like,
in different clothes.
No, he's in the same clothes, but it's just like I didn't see him come out from behind the thing. I just turned around, and he's behind the desk, and I'm like, "Good, hi."
Imagine if he was in like a suit when you turned around.
Exactly.
Like, what the fuck?
But I get the room from him, and it's all great. Hotels, the room's nice. It's beautiful. Like, I'm not kidding when I say that. I think this hotel was built last week.
Wow.
The room is immaculate because I don't think another human being has ever stepped foot in that room.
Wow.
But then I was like, okay, so this place definitely said, according to Google, it had like a bar and a restaurant attached to it. No, it's just that like there's one next door is what they mean. And there's a quote unquote convention center attached to this place, which what I mean is there was a building next to this place that had two very big rooms in it. But I don't think they called it a convention center, but like literally if I go outside of my hotel room, if I go to the right, there's a set of double doors, and that's like theoretically the outside of the hotel into this, again, quote unquote convention center. And I go and I walk up to the door, and it says on it, please do not like go through convention center to get to restaurant and bar. Please go left for something and right for, oh God, it was Barefoot Bernie's. That's what it was called. Go to Barefoot Bernie's like bar and grill. And I was like, well, I guess I can't go through this empty building to get to this restaurant. So I go outside and I go out down this little flight of concrete stairs into another parking lot. What was essentially, it looked like this place existed in like the strip mall next door, and they built the fake convention center in between as a throughway, but also they weren't done building the fake convention center yet.
Oh my
so,
God.
so that was my Super Bowl Sunday, because I go in and I'm like, I go into this place and like it's me and like 6 other people in the middle of this small town in the middle of Maryland that is like, there's nothing going on in this town in Maryland. This is like going into East Providence in the middle of like Super Bowl Sunday. No one is doing anything. Yeah. So I go in, I get dinner, I go back to the room, I watch the first like 3/4 of the Super Bowl, and then I'm like, this is kind of boring. I'm going to go back to the bar. And when I go back in there, there's 6 people in the whole place, and we're all watching the Super Bowl. I think there's literally 3 Patriots fans in that bar, including myself, and I'm only marginally a Patriots fan because I don't like sports, everybody. Surprise, surprise. But the other 2 people that seemed to really be rooting for the Patriots, I swear to God, if I had closed my eyes, it would have been my parents sitting at the end of that bar.
Oh my God.
Because the guy is shouting at every play, and the woman is talking to the bartender about ordering a martini and having a real deep conversation about just how strong that martini should be.
Oh my God.
because they are going back and forth about it. And then I hear the bartender goes up to another waitress and is like, I told her she probably wasn't going to like it, but I gave it to her as strong as she said she wanted it. I don't think she's going to like it. And then not 2 seconds later, that woman took a sip of that martini, and I'm going to try and vocalize the face she made,
Oh,
which was,
jeez.
ooh, I don't know.
Wish. Okay, I just need to pause. You're telling these journey stories, right? These stories that you have taken, and I so wish I never really have ever wished to be like a fly on the wall. I would have loved to just be a fly traveling around with you
Oh my
to
God.
see all of this craziness. Because, like, I know you're not making it up, because you can't make this shit up. But it's like, I need to see this.
It's so funny because it
Like-
sounds crazy, but at the same time, this is all like 3 hours of it was really interesting, and then the 4.5 days around driving was very, very boring.
Yeah. But, like, I can just picture you, like, walking into a hotel and not a soul.
I walked in,
It's
I
just
was
like,
so like,
Zack.
what was weirdest was like the sign, right? The sign should have been the first thing
Yes.
that tipped me off,
Yeah.
because it is a red sign with green lettering
Oh, God.
that says Grand Plaza Hotel. And I'm thinking, and nothing, like there's like a little, like one of those like put up the letters like
Oh, yeah.
like signs like that.
Like
That's
a
like
marquee kind of thing.
right.
Yeah.
There's like a marquee sign and nothing underneath it. Nothing on that marquee sign. And I'm drive in and like 4 cars in the whole parking
Jeez.
lot. I have to assume at least one of those belonged to the people working there that night. And I'm like, and it should have been like, this is a sign, right? This is a thing I should be. Nah. I mean, it's like I should
need
be
to
worried.
sleep.
It was a nice enough night. I mean, it was a perfectly fine room. I'm not at all concerned about my safety here. But also,
No.
this is like, and like I'm in town, like I'm across the street from like a supermarket and a Wendy's. It's not like I was out in the middle of nowhere going into this hotel. But also, the whole thing was just like, it's weird to walk into a hotel lobby and not see a human being.
Yeah. No, I get that.
Like, even when I walked into the Courtyard Marriott, I didn't see a single person who worked at that hotel, but there were like 5 guys sitting in that like bistro drinking beers who were clearly in town on business. Like,
Yeah. There's
Like, where
there's
else-
usually some activity
like
going
usually you see a human being.
on. Yeah.
Human
Yeah.
beings are not rare. Like,
Oh, they aren't?
no.
Oh my God. That's
No,
so-
because I learned that the next day as I was driving back into Rhode Island, and I'm gonna have to go past like New York to the Tappan Zee Bridge.
Yep.
And like, as I'm approaching, I have had clear sailing for 3 days up to this point, 3.5, 4 days even, like nothing going from New Mexico to Colorado. It's been a great driving. And literally, as soon as I hit what someone would presumably call New England, I hit a fucking traffic jam. Because welcome back to New England.
Yep.
I'm like coming up to the Tappan Zee Bridge. Oh, there's an accident. You got to get through here. Okay, fine. We got to cross the Tappan Zee Bridge. Everything's great. I turn on to 95 North, and all traffic has stopped for construction. And like, I'm like, this feels right. This feels
Yeah.
great. Also, I don't know if anybody outside of New England knows this, but in most places, the like speed limit is 70 or 75.
Yep.
Literally, I hit 95 and it was like 65.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a 55 area. Gonna go 65 here, 55, 65, 55. I was like, why? Why? Oh my God.
Yeah. It's really, really weird that it just changes. Like, and I didn't know that other places, and I think it is mainly like south is 70 miles, 75 miles per hour.
I mean, it's not just south. I mean, it's literally west of the Mississippi.
Yeah, it's
Everything is
crazy.
70 and 75.
yeah, no. It's like now, so like my commute to work now, there's a 65 and then a 55 and then gets back up to 65 and then a 50 because of construction.
Oh,
It's like,
man.
what is happening? What is happening?
But I'm back now. Everything's fine.
Hey, back,
It's great. I never want to
back
drive
to the
that much
ocean
again.
spray.
I didn't realize how much it had like physically taken a toll on me till like the last 3 days. As an old man staring down the barrel of 30
God.
years old,
God.
I woke up on Tuesday. So I got back on Monday. Everything's great. I wake up on Tuesday and my right leg feels like it's on fire.
Well, yeah.
And I couldn't figure out why. I realized, you idiot, it's because you just spent 5 days with your foot putting the pedal of a U-Haul to the
Yeah.
fucking floor, dragging God knows how much weight, just trying to get this thing to go between 65 and 70 on a regular basis.
Oh,
Ugh.
yeah, that'll do it. That'll do it. I've never
Like, you don't
driven a U-Haul, but
You
yeah,
don't think
I
about it
imagine.
until you've had to just take your foot and just depress it at a steady level for hours at a time.
Yeah. Oh man, that's so funny.
Oh,
God.
that's literally been my week. I mean, I did stuff before that, and we might get to that, and I've done stuff, in the last couple of days. But more importantly, that was like, I've been waiting to say all of that out loud.
Yeah.
How has your last couple of weeks been?
Good. Interesting. Good. I didn't have to drive a U-Haul or anything. No. So basically the main thing that's been going on is that Devin and I watched 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo.
Ah, yes.
Before I get to that though, I do want to mention that I saw Kid Who Would Be King. The Kid Who Would Be King.
Oh, I need to go.
You need to see it.
That. Oh.
You need to see it. I would see it again. No, but it was a lot of fun. And it makes me really sad that it like bombed its first weekend.
I mean, bombed
But
here.
it
The
bombed
nice thing
here,
is
yes,
that
yeah.
the nice thing is that is definitely an international movie.
Yeah,
like, it's very much a
definitely.
British film that for whatever reason they were like, "Oh, let's release it in the States too."
But I'm so
It'll
happy.
do fine money-wise.
I am
but
so happy that it was released here because it is the type of movie that I freaking love. Because it brings in Arthurian, is that?
yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
Arthurian, lore and all of that, and it just like, and it's like kids on an adventure. Like those work for me because you gotta watch the kids like be badass. And
Yeah, it doesn't need to be
people-
complicated.
Yes,
You don't need anything more
exactly.
complex than just
you-
kids need to step up and do like
and do what they need to do.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it's nice too because like people really like they don't give kids a lot of credit. I mean, especially now, I feel like with the move towards technology and all of that, I feel like kids don't get a lot of credit for like smarts or something. But like anytime it shows that kids can be capable, like I'm on board because kids are capable of stuff. Kids are like, and these kids, they were like, I don't know, the equivalent of maybe middle school, like maybe 9th grade. Who knows? I don't know. I'm really bad with age. But, like,
well, especially when you start getting into like England and like
Yes,
primary versus secondary school and all that. I have no idea what ages they do their
I
things.
don't either. So it's just like these, it's nice to see kids being capable because I don't think people realize that kids can do shit and teenagers can do shit other than just play on their phones.
I mean, you're right, because like Stranger Things, you think would have given people the idea that like, oh, by the way, kid actors especially are still pretty fucking good.
Yes.
But at the same time, that show takes place in the 80s.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, someone was like, well, kids these days, there was all their technology. We gotta find a time period where they didn't have all these distractions like phones and video games. Put it in the 80s.
Yeah.
I was like, no, kids are still fucking badass, everybody. It's okay.
Kids can still be badass even with technology. I mean, especially when you bring the Arthurian lore into it, where the whole movie they're just like, yeah, we need to learn how to use swords. YouTube's not going to help us with that because we have to actually attack something. I mean, YouTube could probably
sure
teach.
YouTube would teach me how to use a sword. I've seen some of those nerds.
That's true. That's true. As soon as I said it, I was like, "That's an incorrect statement."
Before I moved out of New Mexico, I was walking down the street, the main street of the town I used to live in, and outside the karate dojo, there was literally two dudes who were probably older than
Oh
me,
my god!
sword fighting on the sidewalk.
Awesome. Awesome. That's good. That's awesome. Probably, I hope they were making a video. No, but
No, I think they were just practicing, which is like practicing for what? I don't know, but they were definitely practicing for something.
So nice. That's awesome. See, I would have loved to be a fly, just watching that from your perspective. But no, it's more like, yeah, we have to learn how to use swords. We could use technology, but we have a wizard with us who's gonna teach us. We're also in the middle of nowhere. We're gonna have to learn. And we don't have service or anything.
Like, don't worry, we've got Patrick Stewart, everybody. Everything's gonna be fine.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. It makes me happy anytime, and it also makes me happy when movies don't harp on like technology too. Like there could have been, and this also like goes towards the British humor versus American humor, I believe too. There 100% could have been a YouTube joke in that moment. I mean, obviously they have to use swords. Like that's the part that comes with a warrior story. That comes with a hero story. They have to learn how to use their weapon. There could have been a scene where the four kids are huddled around a phone watching a video, and Merlin could have come in and been like, "What the hell is going on here? That's not gonna teach you. They're using plastic." And then he hands them a metal fucking sword and is like, "Here, go." Like, learn. And there just wasn't, and that was nice.
You know what's a weird like equivalent to that is the new Sabrina.
Okay.
There's that show takes place now.
Yes.
There's only like 2 episodes where you would notice that. Otherwise, like literally, I was like talking to a friend about that, and she was like, "Hey, does this show take place in the 80s? Because I haven't seen them use a phone yet." It's like, no, they do. Like, there's definitely scenes where one of them opens a laptop and one of them definitely has a phone, but they never use them for like plot.
Yeah.
They're just things that exist around them, which is like a perfect way to do that. Like yes, people have phones and laptops. Also, the only time I really opened my laptop was the last 4 days when I was sitting in hotel rooms so I could play Pokemon while I was sitting in a hotel room because I was bored.
Smart. I mean,
like,
yeah, it's
like it's not like the idea that like technology is so prevalent that kids would never learn anything these days. They just use them for this. It's like, no, I mean, I use it for a map to get across the country. But otherwise, between that and listening to podcasts, that was all my phone is used for the last few days. It's not like I walked into a situation. It was like, this hotel lobby is so empty. Let me use my phone to connect to human beings or something. It's like, no, I walked in that hotel room and went, people, hello, people.
Yeah, exactly. And like the thing with Sabrina is like, yes, they exist in this world, but they're tools. Phones are tools. Laptops are tools for us to get stuff done if we need to.
Right. They still like went to a library to learn things or like went to a book to learn something. It wasn't like they sat there like in a dark corner on their computer learning all about witchcraft forever or some shit.
Oh, man. I don't know. But Kid Who Would Be King, I really enjoyed it. I mean, it's not going to be like an Oscar-winning movie. It's just a movie to have fun with. And I had so much fun with it.
Which is really Joe Cornish's like wheelhouse.
Yeah.
Like Attack the Block is a lot like that too, where it's like, here's a group of kids and they act like kids like the whole time. They act like kids and teenagers. Like you understand everything, like nothing seems illogical because you're like, oh, okay, this is kids doing what kids would do. Like, oh, they found a fucking alien body at a park. What would they do? Well, they bring it to the first authority figure they can trust, which isn't a cop, it's a fucking weed dealer.
Yeah.
Because they know the weed dealer
Yeah. Yeah.
and shit like that. Like they know what they're doing. So it's a thing about like trusting kids. You have to trust kids to do like to know what they're doing.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally. Which I want to talk about Scooby-Doo, but that also kind of brings me to a new show that I watched the first episode of today, which is The Hollow. Which
Oh my God! I watched like the first like 3 or 4 episodes of that show.
Oh, okay. Don't tell me
cannot-
anything, because I've only
I'm
watched
not
the
gonna
first
tell you anything.
episode.
I just can't believe it because I almost was like, you should watch The Hollow.
Yes.
And the fact that you came to it completely separately is amazing to me.
I was actually gonna text you today and was like, you need to watch The Hollow.
Oh yes.
But I had other stuff to do.
Man.
But so that first
Escape Room, the cartoon show.
pretty much. I mean,
Yes.
the way, like, I texted Devin and I was like, I need you to watch the first episode because I need to know if you're interested. Because if you're not interested, I'm watching it on my own. But if you're interested, we are watching it together. And the way I described it was like, it's very video game. It felt like a video game. It felt like you are on the other side of, you're not on the other side of the controller. You're just in the video game with these people who are playing through.
It is as if the characters you're watching are also figuring out whether or not they're in a game at the same time that you are playing it or whatever. Yeah.
Exactly. Like it was so, minute one, this is not really spoiler, but they wake up in a room, just an empty room, and there's a typewriter sitting next to them.
Right, like the setup for the whole series is just 3 kids wake up in a cinder block room without any memory of who they are.
Yeah.
And the only thing around them is a typewriter.
Yeah. And then they have
go
to
from there.
Go from there. It's literally go from there. But like, talk about trusting kids to like do what they have to do. And I don't want to spoil anything. I don't want to give anything away or like how they get out of the room. But like like even without their memories, kids, these teenagers, because they're like probably teens, are fucking
just about
smart.
like I would imagine like 13. Like I would put them at 13 at the youngest, if not like 14 or so. Yeah.
Yeah, they're like preteens. They're not preteens. They are in the beginning stages of it. But it's it totally goes into that. We need to trust these people. We need to trust these kids, and we know that they will get out of this.
And it actually it does a thing. I don't think I've brought this up before. God, Dayle, we've almost done the show for a year. I don't remember anything
We have
anymore.
almost done this show for a year. Oh my God, we're not at 50 yet, right?
No, we have to be at least in February to hit 50, and we haven't. Oh God, we're in February.
We're in February. It's February 6th.
I'll look again, but no, we have not hit 50 yet.
We're close though.
We are very close. So I noticed something. I'm sorry, everybody, to bring Smallville back. But I noticed something. And Smallville was the thing that made me notice this. There's an episode of Smallville in like season 6 or 7 where Clark gets his memory wiped or whatever for an episode. And so doesn't remember that he has superpowers.
Oh.
So
sounds like a fun episode.
It's an okay episode. There's some weird shit that happens in the last half of that series that is like really actually kind of good, surprisingly good. But so he loses his memory and he comes to a door and he remembers the concept of a door. Obvious, like remembers that like doorknob opens door. Apparently doesn't remember that what a locked door is and ends up like ripping the thing off of its hinges and throwing the door like 50 yards behind him, which is a story conceit because he's with Lois Lane, who doesn't know that he's, Superman. And so they need to like make these story conceits for like, why does Clark not all this stuff? It's all for story reasons. I mean, that's the short answer is that all of this is for story reasons. But like, I watched that episode, and my mind immediately went with, why does he remember the concept of a door but doesn't remember the concept of locking? Why is
Yeah.
that the thing he doesn't
Yeah.
remember?
That's interesting.
And immediately I started remembering every other show and movie where people start to forget things, and the whole concept in movies and TV shows of amnesia. And I went, oh my God, none of it makes sense. And my brain split in half. The movie Clean Slate with Dana Carvey, by the way, still holds up with that. So everybody should watch it. It's a great movie. Uh, but like then I watched The Hollow, where the whole conceit to that show is that these kids don't remember anything about it, and it works just fine for me on that, because I watch that and I go, okay, so they have clearly set up this whole scenario where these kids don't remember their past, but they remember
things about
like remember normal stuff.
yes.
Because that's always like a weird thing. Like amnesia in this weird concept is like always caused by either you get knocked in the head by something, or your like brain is erasing memories because of trauma. And when you start erasing things because of trauma, it doesn't really matter what you remember and what you don't. It's just your brain compensating for anything. And so that conceit works fine. But if you get hit in the head or somebody wastes your memory for something, it gets real weird, because then it gets like, why do you remember this but not that? And why does this still work and not that?
Well,
doesn't work at all.
I think it also it's a difference of like whether or not the amnesia comes at the very beginning or if it shows up in the middle. Because having these kids be just as clueless as their past as we are is what makes it work.
That's true. That's very true.
Because we're just as lost as they are, which is what you kind of want. You want to be like connected to the characters in some way. And that's kind of how it does it in this situation, where
you're right.
It's just it's kind of like it's like it's like a video game where the person is like tasked with this thing and they don't have any clue what is about to come at them, and they're gonna have to use what they learn to get around it. And and that happens when they when they're assigned their names. I don't want to give too much away, because
they
you
find
just need
names,
to watch it.
but there's a conceit to whether or not those names are real.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's just like it always works better when you also are in that position of, I don't know what the fuck is going on, but let's see what happens.
It almost turns like existing characters into audience surrogate at the same time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas like with Clark Kent not remembering he's Superman, you're sitting there and it's like, well,
six seasons in, and you're like, why don't you remember what your own house
dude?
looks like? Yeah.
And it's just like, this is dumb. Why did this happen now? Why did you wait 6 seasons to give him amnesia? We know he's gonna get it back because he fucking becomes Superman. Like, we know what's gonna happen. So it's just like, that sounds like a fun episode, because I just imagine he's walking around like a bumbling idiot. Kind of, but
to be fair, Tom Welling looks like he's walking around like a bumbling idiot anyway, because he's not the greatest actor in the world. But
yeah, but like it's
a lie. I love Tom Welling. Tom Welling's great. He just like Superman's a hard character to play.
True, but it's just like, yeah, that sounds like a fun episode, but give it to me like season 2. Give it to me when I still don't really like. I know the character of Superman, but I don't know this character that well. Even season 1. Throw it in season 1. Throw it season 1, episode 10, because, well, episode like 12. Yeah, 10.
It's CW.
10.
Episode like 20.
Episode like 20.
Let's not
true.
Lie.
That's true.
There's 30 episodes a season on that. See?
That's true. But like, give it to me in the first season, and then maybe revisit it and be like, no, you've already gone through this. We can't go through this again.
See,
like,
here's the thing, though. What's really funny is
it,
they actually do revisit it in season 9 or 10, which might be one of the best episodes of that series ever, which is that they literally just did a Hangover episode.
Oh.
There is
yeah,
a
you explained
literal
that. You've talked about
there's
that.
a literal hangover episode in which he wakes up and doesn't remember the night before, and it's some of the best, not only the best acting from Tom Welling, but some of the best writing in 10 years of that series. That episode is fucking great, but it works because it's only one night. Don't try to erase the entire concept of I have powers from Superman, because it doesn't fucking work.
It doesn't make sense. It especially doesn't make sense with that kind of with that character.
Yeah.
Oh man. Moving on to more kids solving stuff. Scooby-Doo and the 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo.
Oh my God. You need to explain some of this. So very, very quickly, as much as this is like on the air and a weird question to ask, are you and Devin still planning on doing that like other recording?
No.
Or can we just talk about this at
No.
this point?
We can just talk about it.
Okay,
No,
cool.
there's no.
Why the fuck wouldn't Scrappy-Doo be in the fucking movie?
Right. Okay, so for anybody who doesn't know or understand
As
what
someone
13
who
Ghosts
absolutely
is.
loves, by the way, I love the two Scooby-Doo live-action
Oh,
films.
yes, they're fantastic.
Matthew
I love
Lillard
them.
is
I love them.
like one of the best fucking Shaggies that exists in the universe. I cannot believe.
There's a reason why he voices him now.
Right. Like, and just the fact that like the fucking joke, the best joke ever, is in Scooby-Doo the movie, where spoiler alert for a like 15-year-old movie now, Scrappy-Doo is the bad guy in the best way.
So good.
It's perfect.
So
and
good.
how do you not put him in the movie for the show he actually existed in?
Yeah.
Anyway.
I don't know. So thank you for being as upset about it.
That's a continuity thing,
you didn't even watch the movie. No, I mean, yeah, I don't think Devin and I are gonna record, considering like after we watched the movie, we were both like, yeah, pretty happy we didn't record something. But no, so the series, if you're not familiar with the 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo, it's basically Shaggy, Daphne, Scooby, Scrappy, which if you don't know who Scrappy-Doo is, look him up.
Scooby-Doo's
Scooby-Doo's
nephew, and he's the cousin Oliver of Scooby-Doo.
Yes.
No one knows what that means because no one watches Brady Bunch at our age. Anyway.
So it's them. So it's those four. So no Fred, no Velma.
Which by the way, just quick question, was that explained? So
no.
Here's the thing. The article that I read about the film coming out explained why Fred and Velma were not in the series.
Yes.
And so I assumed that meant the series explained it, not the movie.
No, not that I remember. They don't mention it in the show
That's fucking bonkers.
Yeah, it just kind of happens. So like Devin and I are watching it, and there's like the menu, and there's no Fred or Velma, and I'm like, oh, that's weird. Maybe they'll show up in another menu, or they're gonna be. It's Fred and Velma. They kind of gotta be here. Let me tell you
Freddie
something.
Prinze and
as much as I love
Linda Cardellini, come on.
I love the gang. Let me tell you, Velma, awesome. I did not miss them at all. Because you want to know who was added to the group? Flim Flam.
Oh, God, Flim Flam. Flim Flam. Yeah, I know he's not actually a liar, but Flim Flam. Oh, Flim Flam.
Yeah, that's all you could say. It's just, Flim Flam. So that is the group. That is the gang. And also Vincent Van Gool, who is kind of like their mentor. But he also like
add Vincent Price to a thing and not make it be awesome. Like, to be honest.
Exactly. So basically, they like screw up their plans. They show up in the Himalayas instead of Honolulu because Shaggy and Scooby, they're they mess shit up.
It's a dog and a pot smoker.
So they show up in the Himalayas. They get to a temple. They get duped to open this chest of 13 ghosts, which the 13 ghosts were like the worst ghosts, the worst demons in the world. They were trapped in the chest, and the chest could only be opened by mortals. So Shaggy and Scooby
and Vincent Price is immortal forever.
Yes.
Never gonna change.
So they get duped into opening it, releasing the 13 ghosts, and basically the series is they have to catch them. the series starts out really, really, really good. Like it's not great. Like the animation is wonky, but it came out in what, the 80s, 70s, 80s, 80s.
I think 80s, yeah.
80s. Devin just told me. I believe it's the 80s.
Because
Um,
Scooby-Doo was like late 70s,
yeah,
and that was only, believe it or not, the original Scooby-Doo Where Are You is only like less than 30 episodes.
Yeah.
Like it feels like a show that went on forever, but really
But
it's
it
just the
didn't.
same like 20 episodes that they just keep replaying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so animation's not going to be 100%, like whatever. It's so cheesy and so much fun. Like there were the beginnings of the series. There are music numbers. There are like these elaborate like tricks that they play on the ghosts. Like it feels like Scooby-Doo. Like it feels like, yeah, okay, this feels right. This is good. And like it was also so meta at times. Like there were moments where people were watching. There's an episode where Scooby-Doo retires and it turns over to people who are watching Scooby-Doo Where Are You or Scooby-Doo, and they're like, but Scooby-Doo, like I don't want to watch it without Scooby-Doo. And then another dog replaces him. That's kind of where the show
Hold
went
on.
downhill.
Wait. Hold on. I missed something. Wait, hold on.
It's only for an episode, but yeah, another
It's like
dog
a
comes
weird
in.
meta universe episode.
It's so
Scooby-Doo.
weird. It is so weird. I have it on DVD if you ever want to
I want
watch
to
it.
point out, by the way, that explains the movies so well. Like, so in case anybody doesn't know this, James Gunn, the guy that did Guardians of the
Yeah, I
Galaxy,
didn't realize that
made
until
the
like, a couple
live-action
days ago.
Scooby-Doo movies. And those movies are pretty much about how, like, the mystery gang got kind of too fucking big for their
Yep.
own britches.
Yep.
And so the idea that, like, this was something that existed in the Scooby-Doo universe already, that the mystery gang was so big that people were making shows about them already, like, it sounds like a thing that, like, oh, late 90s, early 2000s, let's get meta and make a jokey TV movie. No, this was planted in the Scooby-Doo universe already.
Yeah. It was it's a very strange episode. It feels like it comes out of nowhere. Let me just tell you something. There were a lot of moments while Devin and I watched the 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo TV show. I'm not even going to talk about the movie yet. There were a lot of moments where Devin and I just shared a look of what the hell is going on right now.
Casey Kasem got real fucking meta, everybody.
Well, like, there's that. There's another episode where they get transported into a movie, which is really, really good. Like, that, again, feels like the supernatural of Scooby-Doo. Like, it felt right. There's another one where they get transported into a comic book. Like, it's, like, those ones are so good. The meta one was really not good at all. And then there was another one, I think it's episode 5. If I'm remembering my countdown on Twitter, yeah, it was episode 5. Or it was the 5th ghost, right? And it didn't feel like they actually caught a new ghost because the ghost came from the chest. So it seemed like they had already caught one and they were just like, oh, we gotta get him back in. It was weird. Weird
So
time.
the Ghostbusters had a leak in their, like, nuclear fission reactor.
So
The guy from the EPA isn't really a bad guy in that movie, everybody. I swear to God, I'm sorry.
But no, so basically the way to sum up the TV series of 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo is starts out really, 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 really strong. Like, it is interesting, the ghosts are cool, like, it makes sense narratively and all of that, right? Towards the end, it's kind of like, shit, we still need to come up with ghosts. Crap.
Oh shit, this thing's still
we
on?
Crap. We have these 2 other characters that, like, these 2 secondary ghosts that aren't part of the 13 ghosts that we still need to pay attention to. So we're going to try and make them get into this league of supernatural but it's only going to happen for the last like 3 or 4 episodes.
You know what that sounds like? That sounds like,
It's
God, we're really hoping for the second season. We need to
Yeah.
set up a storyline for these two.
Yeah. So it's like, and there it's Bogle and weird, and it's like episode, I want it like the 4th to last episode, maybe the 3rd to last episode. It's like this it's kind of like SAG. It's like the SAG organization.
You mean Screen Actors Guild? Like
Yes,
straight up
yes.
people needed to get paid?
Yes. Like pretty much that is the best way to, but it's like the Spectres something, whatever. And they're trying to get into the club.
The writers were really calling out for some extra pay, and the only way they knew how to do that was to create characters who were looking for union contracts.
Yeah. It was like they were like trying to get part of this club that you had never heard of before. And it was just like, you guys just forgot that. Or you didn't forget, and you were just like, we need to give them something else to do. It's like they're already trying to get in good with the 13 ghosts. They don't then also need to get in this club. Like, what is going on? So it really fizzles out towards the end. The comic book episode is really, really good, and then it fizzles out. And then the movie happens. And...
So
the word to describe the movie, hold on. The word to describe the movie is disappointing.
I mean, yes, that happens. Dead Like Me, which was Brian Fuller's first series. Brian Fuller, best known for shows like Pushing Daisy and Hannibal and almost Star Trek Discovery before he pulled out of that. The whole reason, everybody, the first season of Star Trek Discovery is really uneven because they had really bad shit going on behind the scenes. The second season is amazing. That's me calling it out. Anyway, still love the first season of Discovery. Still gonna just be a fan of that forever. But the second season also really fucking good because they are like steady and shit like this isn't happening where Brian Fuller disappears halfway through the 3rd episode. But Dead Like Me, which was his first series, which is fucking amazing, like 3 years after it ended, they did like a Showtime original movie for it, and it's so bad. It's really bad, and that's just a thing that happens. Never do the like, we want to do a finale movie thing, because it's just never gonna work. People.
Yeah. So what the movie was exactly that. In the series, they had only caught 12 ghosts. Some people on the internet, and to a degree, if I think about it, or if I really, I don't know, I gotta watch the episode again. People on the internet really only believe they've only caught 11 because of that ship episode where the ghost comes from the thing, and they're like, we gotta fix this. So people on the internet think that there's only 11, but they say there are 12 ghosts. This movie was them catching the final 13th ghost. I'm gonna tell you, people, I'm spoiling this movie. This episode is already...
Spoiler friends. It's the amazing Spoiler Friends. I don't remember any of the words, but watch out, because spoilers are coming.
I think that was better than the original song we came up with.
Just like, if I could just like, wait, let me sing it. Let me sing the thing I don't remember the words to. Oh, okay, anyway.
Oh, so good. Just because, like, I just need to talk about it. Like, this is, I need to. I'm sorry.
Please do.
And I'm sure you'll get Devin's take on it, too, because he and Sejan haven't been able, well, maybe they did. Wait, did they record?
No, they did not.
No, they haven't been able to talk about it yet.
I don't know when you watched it, but I can confirm.
We watched the movie last night, so they have not.
Yes, this past episode of the Say Report, period, senior, older sisters, I don't know how we're calling it anymore. They did not talk about it. Anyway.
Yeah, so they haven't gotten to talk about it. So you will hear, I'm sure you'll hear Devin's take on it too, which he might get a little bit more deep. He will get deeper into it. I will just give you the baseline. But like, the movie starts out and it's Fred, Velma are there, which, like, what the fuck?
Oh, God.
Like,
already?
Oh, okay. Wait. So it starts out with them, like, doing a mystery and catching, quote-unquote, the wrong guy. and then the sheriff
Which is literally how the original Scooby-Doo live-action movie starts, doesn't
yeah,
it? They catch the wrong guy and then they split up. No. They catch the right guy, but then they all get really shitty about getting the attention.
Yeah,
Sorry.
and then they split up.
Oh my God.
So then it's the sheriff of the town who's like, you kids need to be careful. You're almost 18. And if you keep doing this shit, like, he's gonna charge you with harassment, and then you're gonna go to jail. You gotta stop doing this. It's
there
time
are real
to
life
grow
consequences
up.
to being meddling kids.
It's this whole thing of like, you need to grow up, gang. You've been 18 for how many? You've been 17 for this many years.
I realize it's 1970. They're going to be adults soon.
So that's how it starts, and it's like, cool, downer already, awesome. Like, this is only way to go up. It's the only way to go, right? Right? Good. So then it cuts to them doing a garage sale. It cuts to Fred selling the mystery machine.
Christ almighty.
And then doing an entire garage sale of all their old shit. Like, of all, like, their, like, books and like, old, just gadgets. Just ridiculous, right?
Were there musical instruments in there? I have a question. I can't remember this.
I don't remember if there were musical instruments.
I tend to mix up Josie and the Pussycats.
Oh my God.
And the Mystery Gang sometimes. And so I swear there was a period in time in which the Mystery Gang were also a band, but I might just be thinking of Josie and the Pussycats.
You also might be thinking of Jabberjaw.
I mean,
I'm pretty sure Jabberjaw, they're a band.
Oh, no, they're a band because Nerf Herder did one of the best songs ever.
Yes.
About Jabberjaw.
Yeah.
No, I remember Jabberjaw. I just can't remember for the life of me.
But Josie and the Pussycats is an Archie.
There also might be, I think there's a weird crossover of Scooby-Doo and Josie at some point where they are like transporting their musical shit. That might be what I'm thinking of.
Maybe.
I'm going to have to look this up, everybody. You'll find out next week, maybe, if I remember. Anyway.
I don't know. I did not see any musical instruments. But then, so it's them, talking, blah, blah, blah. And then the crystal ball that was from the... Oh, wait, I forgot to tell you. Oh, the movie... Never mind. The movie doesn't start with them doing the thing wrong. It's backstory for the chest of demons.
Oh, it actually explains why they were all trapped in there in the first place?
But here's the problem. We got an explanation of why the demons were trapped in the chest. First episode of the series.
Pay attention to your pilots, y'all. Pay attention to your pilots.
This explanation makes no sense. And it's like, no. Because in the first episode, 13 Goes to Scooby-Doo, it is explained that the townspeople of where it was in the Himalayas were the ones who trapped the demons in the box. And as punishment, the demons put a curse on the town that turns everybody into werewolves at night. That is what happened.
That is the most coherent sentence you have said. I understood
everything,
of that.
Right? Yeah. I mean, it's pretty simple.
Pretty simple.
The movie.
Yeah, you got demons. The demons put curse on you. No, I got that. Yeah, that makes sense. Sure, I get that.
I mean, the movie starts with Vincent Van Gogh and like his supposed best friend, who we've never heard of, running away from from a ghost, from the 13th ghost, and they trap him, right? And then his friend Mortimer, it's like kind of like Mortimer, but it's not. And it shows that his friend
because
like,
of
gets
course
killed.
We had to come up with a weird way to say Mortimer, everybody.
So sorry. So it was Vincent and his friend who trapped the ghosts. Which, like, all right, fine. Maybe it was at a different time. I can believe that. Then it shows them being like treasure hunters in like the middle of the movie. It goes back to like backstory, and it's those two go to like a temple, like it's kind of like an Egyptian or like it's a temple, right? and they break into the temple, break open this box,
It's
and
a Temple of the Hidden Legends on Nickelodeon, 3 o'clock on weekdays.
And they open up a thing, and they find the chest of demons. And Mortimer, whatever is, I'm gonna call him Mort. Sorry to call him Mort from Bazooka Joe, but that's
Mort
what I'm
for
calling
Mort.
him.
It's Mort for Mort. Okay. Robin Williams, I got it. What are we doing?
All right, anyway, so it's them, and Mort's like, what a great archaeological find that we just did. We're gonna make millions. And Vincent Van Gogh is like, there's a curse on this box. We're not doing that. And then the chest accidentally gets opened because the lock breaks. So then they have to collect everything, right? Right? And then the whole movie happens where it's Fred and Velma are like, why didn't you ever tell us that you guys went on this adventure? Like, you never thought it would get brought up again. I can't believe you did this. Blah, blah,
We
blah.
kind of thought it was a weird side story there, Fred. We didn't think it would come up again.
Well, like, and it goes.
We didn't realize it would be so popular there 30 years later.
That is a brilliant Shaggy. But like they bring up like the issues of like why they didn't talk about it was because Scooby had like a mental breakdown. He really did. I mean, that's what that meta episode is about. Is Scooby-Doo having like this mental breakdown and being like, I can't do this. I'm cool with dealing with people in masks, but I can't deal with ghosts. And then they explain why Shaggy and Scooby are so afraid of people in or like there's a moment where Velma is still her like suspicious, like she is the one
Still
who's
her
like
rational
her
self.
still rational self, like she's like,
Yeah.
no, none of this is real, all of these are fake. And then Shaggy and Scooby are like, why do you think we like put up with it, or why do you think we're okay doing the people in the masks or whatever? We've dealt with real ones. So it's like, no, what? No.
Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island and Scooby-Doo the movie, live action, very clearly expressed the idea that they have never seen this shit before. That's the whole point.
Yeah, even guys in
Damn it,
masks.
Hanna-Barbera.
even guys in masks are still gonna scare them because first of all, they're the two scaredy cats. They're badass. They can hold their own when they need to. They are both very capable. I was just going to say very capable human beings, but Scooby-Doo is a dog. But they are both very capable when they need to be. But that doesn't change the fact that they're terrified, which is okay, because you guys are doing kind of dangerous shit. Like,
it's like, we have a reason
we
to
have
be
a
terrified.
reason. Exactly.
Even if they're in masks, they're killing people.
Yes, exactly.
They're still bad people.
But like they say that it's like we've dealt with real ones, right? So then it goes through the whole thing, still no Scrappy, and then it separates. The movie does this. This is good. This is good on the movie. It separates Fred and Velma from Daphne, Scooby, Shaggy, and Vincent. So like, good on you, because I did not need that to get mixed up. So Fred and Velma get caught up with this person who is like selling like novelty demons, chest of demons and all of that. And Devin and I, as soon as we see him, are like, well, that's Flim Flam. Well, he has his yellow sweatshirt. It sounds like Flim Flam. It's Flim Flam. His inflection is the same. It's Flim Flam. So then it's Flim Flam. Like, it is shown that it's Flim Flam.
That's Mr. B. That's Rowan Atkinson in that scene.
Yeah. So they have like a nice reunion and all of that and blah blah blah. And then the end of the movie, the resolution. Sorry. They had to give Fred some like conflict, like inner conflict of him not knowing where his place is in the gang, because all of a sudden Daphne is a badass and that she can lead the gang.
They Sarah Michelle Gellar'd her up.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Like,
there's no way. I can't not compare this, by the way, to the live action films.
Yeah.
I keep thinking, how have they tried to compare this to the live action shit?
I mean, you're not wrong. But so it's that's like his whole inner inner like demons kind of coming out. And then there's a point where he's like, I lied to you guys. Last summer I went to cheerleading camp and I am the cheerleader of this group. And I am the one who keeps you guys motivated and keeps you guys going. Because they're all like they're all like hit rock bottom kind of. Daphne doesn't have any more faith in herself. Velma doesn't know it's real because she just recently had a ghostly encounter that
her glasses broke and then she had to confront her own mortality.
Yes, yeah. Like she and Shaggy and Scooby are really hungry. That is their conflict in this moment in time.
That's the most real thing you have said this whole time.
Yes.
Is that, by the way, Scooby and Shaggy are just so fucking hungry that they don't know reality anymore.
So like that's like Fred's redemption is that he's like, I'm the cheerleader of the group. I'm the one who keeps you guys going. Which like, fine, whatever. I did not need that, but fine, whatever. And then like they all get brought back up, and then
by the way, it's very Fred for him to be like, by the way, I'm just so awesome that you just can't fucking function without me. You can't.
Exactly. It's like, I didn't need more of that, though. So then the worst part about this, and I mean, like, it sucks that Scrappy never shows up. It sucks that Bogle and Weird never.
Do they ever explain that, by the way? Do they explain why Scrappy, who is in the entire series, is not there?
They make Flim Flam is like, where's Scrappy? And Velma and Fred make a face and say, what's a Scrappy?
The two people who are not in the series make some dumb shit.
But here's the issue with that. They have interacted with Scrappy-Doo.
I mean, they have
had interactions with him.
You're not wrong. They have.
So it made no sense. And it was totally a throwaway line. And it was just like, that was the worst.
That's
that was
like
awful.
the most fan-servicey dumb shit thing I have ever heard.
It was awful.
Devin, so Devin messaged me earlier and was like, I'm disappointed in the Scooby-Doo 13 Ghost movie. And my reaction was, why did they make Scrappy the hero? Because my assumption was that they basically were like, everybody's too dumb. Scrappy-Doo, of all people, is going to come in here with his pipey power and fucking save the day, like fucking Will Wheaton on an episode of Star Trek The Next Generation with Wesley Crusher. And he was like, no, he's just not in it at all. And that made me angrier than if Scrappy had been the fucking Wesley Crusher of the episode. That's hard to do.
Yeah, no, it was all, and I actually didn't realize how upset it made me until you sent that text. And until I was like, yeah, there was no Scrappy-Doo.
Y'all. Like I don't
hell?
mind. Like, I've never been someone who was pissed off by Scrappy-Doo. I get
love
why
Scrappy-Doo.
people
Are you kidding
are
me? I
pissed
love
off
him.
by Scrappy-Doo. Like, I get it. I get why he's the bad guy in Scooby-Doo the movie.
Yes.
Whatever. But at the same time, just from a continuity standard, everybody, like, you should make the 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo movie a 13th episode or 14th episode of that series and just go with it. You don't go, oh, well, fans didn't like Scrappy, so we wrote him out. And also, we're just going to make a bunch of bullshit excuses for why Fred and Velma are suddenly there. No, you just fucking do a 14th episode of the series and just run with it. Like, run with that.
Just wait until I tell you what the resolution is.
Oh, dear Christ.
Yes. Are you sitting down? You're probably not.
I'm laying down. I'm curled up in a fetal position. What are you?
So they also got rid of Bogle and Weird, which, like, that also is very bothersome.
Wait, I thought that they were Bogle and Weird are the only ones that reference Scrappy. How do you get rid of them and also make that?
No, Bogle and Weird don't. Velma and Fred do.
Right, but I thought it was Weird that asked them about that. Who asked them about Scrappy?
Flim Flam.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, no,
Yes.
sorry.
Oh,
Bogle
all
and
of my
Weird
ghosts in
do not show up.
mixing together.
No,
okay.
it's okay. So, but here's what the resolution is, Zach. Are you ready?
I mean, I'm not, but
Okay.
whatever. At this point.
So
I mean, I'm not. Okay, fine.
It goes through the whole thing where they are fighting the 13th ghost, blah, blah, blah. Velma has finally gotten to the point where she's like, ghosts are real, and I don't know what to do with myself, blah,
Same
blah, blah.
resolution I had in both Scooby-Doo and Zombie Island and Scooby-Doo the movie. I'm going to keep harping on this.
That's
anyway.
fine. So then it gets to the point, right, where Vincent explains that it's all his fault and he is the one who needs to fix everything, even though he's not even the one who opens the chest of demons.
Theoretically, yes.
Like within the season, the series, right? It is Shaggy and Scooby who open it, right? He then explains that the 13th ghost is his ancestor who got so like riddled with power. I don't remember exactly because it's just
ultimate
so much
cosmic
bullshit.
power, itty bitty little living space.
Yes, yeah. So he he got trapped into the box because he was becoming evil. While he was in the box, he became this monster and gathered up had his army and gathered up his army, right? That is what Vincent
his
Van
army of 12. Him and 12 other ghosts.
So that is what Vincent Van Gogh has said to us. And then it goes, and the 13th ghost is about to open the chest. Which I'm sitting there and I'm like, that's weird. It can only be opened by mortals. Oh, well, there's another ghost that kind of opens it in the series. Let's see what happens. And then Velma is about to suck up the 13th ghost in their vacuum spook, which
so their Luigi's
weapon.
Mansion vacuum / Ghostbusters weapon. Got it. Okay.
Slash Fenton Thermos.
Why is it that in all of our pop culture, the only thing we figured out is vacuums and energy beams to suck up ghosts?
Hey,
That's
Danny Phantom used a thermos, so
it's true.
Which is all I could think of anytime they brought out the vacuum spook.
Danny Phantom is like the only other ghost-busting hero I can think of. Yeah.
So anyway, so she is about to suck up the 13 ghosts, and then she throws the thing down, and she's like, no. And they're like, what is wrong with you? You have the power, like, do it. And she's like, no, this is all wrong. You said that only mortals could open the chest. He just opened the chest.
Okay, so at the very least, Velma is like, I'm calling out your bullshit writing for this bullshit thing.
So she's like, and they're like, oh yeah, that's weird. How can a mortal open the chest? Blah blah blah. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like, they're gonna address the issue.
they're gonna deal with their writing plot hole. Okay, got it.
Then they trap the ghost. They get him right. They get the ghost. They got the 13th ghost because he's about to run away. And it is fucking Mort. I just screamed into people's ears.
Mort, who didn't exist before this episode.
Who didn't exist before this movie. Who supposedly died at the beginning of the movie. Mort. Fucking Vincent Van Gogh's best friend. And the whole thing is like, you never saw what the chest could really be. It could have been giving us money. It could have made us so powerful. Blah, blah, blah. I'm a master illusioner. Blah, all this bullshit. And then,
He's Job from Arrested Development. It's the master of illusions, Michael.
Yeah. And then, another, mystery hunter comes and is like, I've been tailing him. Blah, blah, blah. Thanks for helping. It discredited every other thing that happened by making the 13th ghost fucking fake. Which is also bullshit because, was he always faking? Was he stuck in the chest that long? When him and Vince were catching the 13 ghosts, was he the third? It's so ridiculous. And they're like, but the other ones were real. The other ghosts were real, so why wasn't this? Is so stupid. And then they try to explain it away by Velma being like, I think the 13th ghost
was love the whole time. Just like the Fifth Element.
Yeah.
Just like
she was like, the 13th ghost really was your ancestor, and now he's at peace because he thinks you're okay, and he can go back, and he can live his life as peace, as a ghost. And then she's like, yeah, I just made all of that up.
you know what this is?
I was like, what the fuck
I
is
fucking
going
hate to
on?
say it, but you know what this is? This is a fucking pilot episode for a reboot of the fucking 13 Ghosts of
I
Scooby-Doo that you
certainly
just
hope not.
described to me. What you just described is like a fucking new pilot for like a new version where they were like, we thought we caught the 13 ghosts, but really there's a different 13 ghosts we have to catch now.
It's so stupid. The worst part about I keep saying the worst part about it. The whole thing was the worst part about it. No, but the thing that also kind of troubles me is that the chest that the quote unquote 13th ghost opens is one of the novelty chests. It's a fake chest that Shaggy bought from Flim Flam. It's a cooler.
Oh, you bought the real 13th, the real 13 ghosts just by accident. This other
Yeah.
thing was just that's the fucking
No.
those fucking ghosts were fucking nothing. You're continuing to confirm my theory that they are rebooting this series at some point.
So, well, maybe. So he opens up a cooler. And then the whole time the real chest of demons was in Shaggy's luggage from years ago. Like, and he had never opened the
Fucking
luggage
lady.
again.
Well,
And
no, because here's the thing. Here's the thing, and I'm pretty 90% certain this is real. Norville Rogers,
Yes.
Shaggy,
Yes.
is rich as fucking all hell. He is the pot-smoking hippie son of fucking billionaires, and I am pretty certain that is canon.
I mean,
Pretty certain that it's canon. So the idea that he would have entire bits of luggage that he has never touched is not fucking weird to
Well,
me
it's also
at
like
all.
it's also they go down this whole thing where while they were doing this without Fred and Velma, they had a van of their own. So it's like all of their luggage was just still in the van because they never touched it. They never brought it up again.
Oh my
They
God.
never. So
Did
but
they
the
did
killer,
they by the way ever explain in this movie where Fred and Velma were? Because again, the article I read
they
did.
were at camp. They were at
Thank
camp.
you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was really trying to figure out if like the show or movie explained this
the
or if it
movie
was a
does.
fucking press
Yeah.
release from Hanna-Barbera that was like, "Oh yeah, by the way, Fred and Velma are at camp. Don't fucking worry about them."
No, they were at camp. It was just
Okay.
it was so weird. And then there's that line where Fred was like, "I lied. Last year I was at cheerleading camp." And it's like, so are these only a year apart, or did you go to camp multiple times?
No, I was under the impression
Like-
that this movie would take place like right as the other series was ending.
But
Like I
it
don't think it's
doesn't
supposed to
because
be.
Flim Flam is older.
That's weird because I
Flim
was.
Flam
So
is
here's the thing.
definitely
So the
older.
article I read. So this is the weird thing. So the article I read explaining that this movie was coming. First off, spoiled the whole Fred and Velma were at camp thing, so
Yeah.
don't fucking think about it.
Yeah.
So I was under the impression that that came up in the series because the article just said it.
Okay.
So I thought that that was just a thing that came up in the series. The
Yeah.
fact that it only comes up in the movie is bonkers.
Yeah.
And so, like, also the fact that this doesn't take place, like, literally where the other ones, like, left off. Like, why? Why would you do that? Just make the movie about how, like, Fred and Velma come back from camp and Shaggy and Daphne are like, holy shit, man. We got this fucking shit we have to deal with, man. And like trying to explain to them what is going on and make Fred and Velma be like, what the fuck are you talking about? This doesn't make any sense. And so like you have Shaggy, Scooby, and Scrappy trying to convince everyone this is real, and no one believes it until Daphne comes in and is like, no, you don't get it. These fucking pot-smoking Nimrods are telling the truth. This happened. Let's go do this.
Yeah.
Like there's an inherent built-in thing to explain all of this, and the fact that this movie is like, no, hold on.
Yeah.
We've got our own thing we're doing. Like, no, why?
It just felt so
lean
cheap.
into it.
It just felt so cheap by making the 13th ghost fake. Cause like there still has to be a third. Like is it flying? Because Velma even says that she lied about the whole, oh, the 13 ghosts and now live in peace, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
Like,
even
she
like
said
that
she
whole
lied. So, like,
idea,
there's
like,
still a ghost out there. I 100% believe there's still a ghost out there. And that Mort was just like, I'm going to cash in on this.
but even like
But
make that like the mid movie climax reveal. Like, by the way, I'm make that your Kingdom Hearts JRPG. I'm not the real bad guy. Where Mort comes in is like, by the way, I'm not the real 13th ghost. And then this other fucking massive ghost comes in
yeah,
and make it like the
yeah.
whole thing for the last third act of the movie that you
It
have
was
to
just,
catch.
it's so annoying. And it was, and it's like, it's in the new animation style. So Daphne has her entire purple eye, which is really, really distracting. It
Ugh.
is so distracting. Um, but you know, I don't
I
know.
no longer
It
believe that
just
this thing was made by Scooby-Doo fans. I think it was made by new Scooby-Doo fans, people who grew up thinking Simple Plan made the Scooby-Doo theme song. The new Scooby-Doo mysteries, everybody. Simple Plan re-recorded the Scooby-Doo theme song. I'm not joking about that.
oh my god. But yeah, it was just so disappointing, and
Ugh.
I went into it being like, and I said this to Devin, I'm like, the movie has to be fucking amazing because the latter half of this season of this series is not that strong. But and then it wasn't. Like
No, because
it
Hanna
had
Barbera
really
was a
good
fucking
moments. I'm gonna tell you, it had some good moments, but they were all just so clouded by terrible
yeah.
ones.
Hanna Barbera was a animation mill.
Yeah.
People who don't know, I think they did. I might be pulling this out of my ass, but like Hanna Barbera in general, like made you know TV animation huge, and then you had this company called Funimation
Yep.
that came in and made really cheap Saturday morning cartoons. So like He-Man was their big one, but they also made Star Trek the animated series, which is known for being a bad animated series because it was basically cranked out between episodes of He-Man.
Yeah.
So like the whole like that whole like Saturday morning cartoon thing being cranked out by these guys was not meant to be super strong. So like the idea that like, oh, we got 13, 14 episodes of this show. We're going to put a lot of effort into the first like 5 or 6, and then the rest is just going to be like we're already moved on to the next thing
Yeah, it's
is
crazy.
not surprising.
It's
But like
crazy.
it's so upsetting to think that like people who would be what my biggest memories of Scooby Doo are, and it's not even Scooby Doo Where Are You, and it's not 13 Ghosts of Scooby Doo. It's Scooby Doo like meet what was it? Oh fuck, what was it called? The Hollywood Scooby Doo in the movies or something like that, where he fucking met Batman and Don Knotts and the Globetrotters. The three biggest things I remember about Scooby Doo are Adam West Batman, Don Knotts, in the fucking Harlem Globetrotters. Before Futurama made the Globetrotters like a funny joke,
Yeah.
Scooby Doo and Gilligan's Island meet the Globetrotters are like the funniest fucking thing I had ever seen on television. And like the idea that like it's like Scooby Doo has been this weird, meta, malleable thing for years,
Yeah.
where which is just like, you got Scooby Doo, Where Are You? Which is like I said, like 20 something episodes. It's
Yeah.
only like 2 or 3 seasons. And then all of a sudden, they're like a couple of years later, it's like, well, what if Scooby Doo met ghosts? Okay, sure. Ghosts are real. Let's do these 13 episodes. Oh, that didn't really pan out. Let's do Scooby Doo meets fucking Barney fucking Fife of all people. Because it wasn't just Don Knotts, it was Don Knotts as Barney Fife
Wow.
that they met,
Jeez.
and Adam West Batman and the Globetrotters and all of these Scooby Doo's Hollywood mysteries or whatever the fuck they called it. And then we get into the 90s and you get into that place where it's like, oh, Muppet Babies is doing great. Let's do a
Pup
pup
named
named
Scooby
Scooby
Doo
Doo.
with red herring.
Yes. And then you get into the 2000s where, again, no joke, people, a simple plan after the
What's the
Scooby
Scooby
Doo movies
Doo?
does the new Scooby-Doo mysteries
What's your
theme
Scooby-Doo
song.
coming after you?
Yeah,
Gonna
yes,
solve the mystery.
exactly.
See you,
It sounds like
Scooby-Doo.
a fucking pop
Joey's
punk
after
emo
you.
song from the
Oh,
early
what's your
2000s.
Scooby-Doo? No, 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 no. No, 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 no.
Scooby-Doo
Okay,
is this
sorry.
weird.
I need to.
No,
The
Scooby-Doo is
reason,
this weird thing.
like,
We're like
it
all.
really is.
It's this weird thing where it's like Scooby-Doo is famous, and then they're like, it's famous, but it's not popular enough. But people remember it. So what if Scooby-Doo recognized that it was famous, so we
Yeah.
put them with Hollywood stars. And then I was like, oh, that didn't really work out. But what if we put them with this whole new franchise? And now that didn't really work out. But what if all of a sudden in the movies we make them people who got way too popular, way too quick, and so we put Freddie Prinze Jr. and Matthew Lillard and Sarah Michelle Gellar, which, by the way, Freddie Prinze Jr. and Sarah Michelle Gellar still married.
Mm.
Freddie Prinze Jr. and Matthew Lillard still best friends, so we put them all in a movie together, just like Wing Commander. But it's fucking, but it's fucking Scooby-Doo, where we make the whole, and we get the girl from Freaks and Geeks, and we put them all together in a movie, and we make a big joke about the fact that they're all in a movie together.
Yeah. Oh my god, it's ridiculous.
Like, oh my God, I cannot believe what Scooby-Doo is as a franchise.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's cool, but it is crazy.
It's meta in the
stuff-
weirdest
yeah,
way
yeah.
because it's like every iteration of Scooby-Doo remembers what other
other
Scooby-Doo
ones.
was, but also pretends like it never existed
Well,
at the
that's
same time.
Well, that's like in the 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo, they constantly are yelling, "Scooby-Doo, where are you? Scooby-Doo, where are you?" Like they just keep yelling that. And it's like, yes, guys, we get it. We
Yeah, no, we
understand there
remember.
was
We
another
remember.
show. We get it. We remember it. Please stop. Please just move on.
Please, dear
Also,
God.
What's New Scooby-Doo? The reason why I like have that song just like always in my head. My freshman year of high school, I don't remember why, but my English teacher, I don't know what we were talking about, but she would show us episodes of What's New Scooby-Doo, and I thought that the theme song was so good.
That's because Simple Plan, for a very weird time, Simple Plan looked like they were gonna be the like predecessors to like Green Day and Blink-182 and all of the pop punk people, and then emo came into fashion and they were like completely lost.
No, I latched on to What's New Scooby-Doo theme song, and to the point like I came home, looked up the lyrics, so I made sure I had the lyrics down. I was walking down the hallway screaming it, singing it. I would go into that class singing it. I was so excited to watch What's New Scooby-Doo in that class because I think we were talking about mysteries or something. I don't remember. I think we were talking about like narrative or whatever. But I also think that we had to analyze the song, or that could have just been.
No, I've done something similar to that actually.
I don't
I
know.
had like a weird health class where they were like, pick a popular
Okay.
song and its music video, and they were like, okay, look at all the things they're doing that are unhealthy in the music video,
I
and
gotcha.
really analyze the lyrics and all this stuff. And that was around the same time that Simple Plan was super big, and also American Idiot was huge.
Yeah. I mean, it was weird because like there are two songs that I always remember from English class, and it is, what is Run Around? Run Around. Run Around? Is it Run Around? How does Run Around go?
I don't know.
Look around your world, pretty baby. Is that it? No.
Oh, okay.
That's not Run
That's
Around.
not that's oh fuck, Susan and Def are gonna be so mad at me. It's
Give me
Roll
the
With Me.
run.
It's
Roll with me. Yes.
Look
Roll with me.
around
Yes.
the world,
Okay.
pretty baby, gotta.
So
Yeah,
we
okay.
had to analyze Roll With Me, and we had to analyze Paint It Black.
What a weird mix of songs. Because
was weird,
you,
and I'm pretty-
both of those are classic rock.
Yes.
For me, one of those is a one-hit wonder.
Yeah. So we had to analyze those songs, and I have a feeling that we also had to analyze or like talk about What's New Scooby-Doo theme song as like a theme song. I don't know. That was a weird freshman English class.
Oh,
I
it
had
really
to,
sounds like
I
it.
had to make a soundtrack to Romeo and Juliet, and then she gave me shit for the songs I used.
Okay, hold
And
on.
she
First
was
off,
like,
The soundtrack. I mean, I'm assuming you mean Romeo plus Juliet, the Baz Luhrmann, Leonardo DiCaprio
No, like the
thing.
play. Like I
Oh,
had to
okay.
make. I had. She was like, make a soundtrack to Romeo, just to Romeo and
I went
Juliet.
with what's new Scooby-Doo, the Friends theme song.
No, she like it was really really good. I was really proud of it. Like Devin helped me out with it. I was really really proud of the project. This episode has gotten away from us.
That's fine.
I
Whatever.
don't
We
care.
went from
We
Scooby-Doo to
haven't
Romeo and Juliet.
we
I don't know
haven't
how,
talked
but
for
we
like
did
2 weeks, so
it.
but yeah, I was so proud of that soundtrack. And then like all of the critiques were, why did you choose this song? Well, if you read the explanation, it would actually explain why I chose
Because Romeo
Kiss
and
Me
Juliet is the
Deadly
most
for when they take the poison. So
Romeo and Juliet is the most emo pop punk play out there, and it's on purpose because Shakespeare wanted you to go
Yeah.
like, look at these fucking dumb
Yeah,
teenagers.
exactly. Jeez. I still have my soundtrack to
Oh,
I found
man.
the CD of it, and I like back when my old car had a CD player, I put the CD in, and I'm like, this was a good soundtrack. My English teacher was wrong.
If I couldn't make Jesus of Suburbia fit in there, I could definitely make Boulevard of Broken Dreams fit in there somewhere.
I mean, like I used Round and Round because there's a lyric about Romeo and Juliet. I used like Have It All or Nothing at All. Like, it's such a good soundtrack. I can't go down this.
Oh my
I
God,
can't go
like,
back down
my
this.
head, my brain just started putting that song together, and I was like, "Oh my God!" I can just picture Romeo looking at Rose, who he's supposed to be in love with at the beginning, and be
Yeah.
like, "I have it all.
Oh,
Are we
nothing
just friends?"
Yeah,
It's like, well, no, we're just friends because I'm gonna go fall in love with this chick over
and
here.
do you know The Living End? Do you know that
It's
band?
probably one of the songs where I would recognize it if I heard it.
Okay, so they have a song called West End Riot, which is about like kids going out, like it's about rioting and like kids going out and like playing these games. And I used it for the I'm pretty sure I used it for the Mercutio and Tybalt scene. And she was like, "Why? Why does this song fit?" And I'm like, "Did you read the paper that I handed you?
Did you read the
Because
play?
Did you
Have you
listen to
seen
the song?
Shakespeare?
Do you get what's going on? Do you understand what English is? Because that's what you're teaching." Like, it was. I was so upset when I came home from school that day.
Oh man.
Oh God. Anyways, this has
We
been
have to
Say
call the end of
Report
the
Jr.
episode. We can't keep doing this. I played Resident Evil 2, and it's one of the best video game experiences I've ever had, and I can't get to it this week. We've gone too
We're
long.
gonna have to talk. Oh my God.
We'll talk about it next week. Here's
We'll
the
talk
thing.
about that, and we'll talk about Blossom Tales for me.
So here's the thing. Devin has convinced me that I need to go back and play that game again. So I played I played through Leon's campaign, and then the game ended, and it was like, okay, so if you play through Claire's campaign, there's a second run, quote unquote, option where we'll cut out some cutscenes and change some stuff because it's the second time you played through the game. So I played through that, and that was it. And then I uninstalled the game
Oh
because
God.
I was like, I played both of them, and I was done. And I got a fucking C grade on both of them, which made me so mad.
Yeah, Devin has been playing it like
Apparently,
every
that
day.
entire thing is based entirely on just time and nothing else.
Yeah.
Like, it's nothing else. It's like, okay, it took me 9 hours to get through it the first time and 6 hours the second time. And apparently, those are both C grade
Yep.
level fucking grades. And I was like, well, I played through both. I'm done. And then I've seen Devin. Devin keeps messaging me. He's like, well, I'm about to go through the S rank for like 30 minutes. If you just like give me a second, I'll be
Yeah.
done. He asked me tonight, like, what time are you guys recording? I was like, 7:30. He's like, good. I just need to make sure I had time to play through again. Right? I was like, are you kidding me? It's 5:45, and I just told you that 7:30 is when we're gonna record. And no, that's to make sure I have enough time to get through it again. So
Yeah, he's been
next
running
week,
it. He's been running it. It's
I cannot believe that we're going to get into a whole bunch of stuff. We're going to a whole bunch of stuff next week about how that and the game near Automata. Look it up, people.
Oh, yeah, okay.
It's
I know that.
insane because that is a game that you have to play through, literally have to play through 6 times.
Yep.
There's
Yeah,
not an
everything.
option. The
You-
only
yeah.
way to play that game is to play through 5. So I'm we'll talk about that next week. Resident Evil 2, very good. Nier Automata, very good. 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo,
Not.
B- apparently.
Not even a B-. That is generous. That is a generous. That is a very generous grade that you just gave. The Curse of the 13th Ghost, which is what the movie is called.
God, it's aptly named. It feels very good. This is actually the first time. So I've been home for like 3 days, and honestly, this is the first time in 3 days that feels really good to be home. So we were trying to figure out recording time tonight, and I had to text Dayle, "Oh shit! When you say 7:30, you mean 7:30 tonight. You don't mean 5:30 for me."
I think it's. I love that I don't live in the future anymore.
It's so weird. But this has been Say Report Jr. You can find us online on YouTube. I have been rendering new episodes. I think we're up to 35 on the YouTube show. I think I've rendered up to 38 now. So I'm going to try and get up to 40 before I start uploading more. But by the time you hear this, at least 35 will be up there, if not more. You can find us on YouTube if you search us on Say Report Jr. You can find us on Twitter at Say Report Jr. And you can find us individually. I am at Zerwiski, Zerwiski.
Oh, and I am at Dayle's Brain, Dayles. Wait, yeah, SBRAIN. Why did you have to spell?
I really thought that you would say Dayles Brain. I thought that's how you were gonna do that.
I was about to, and then I was like, no, I gotta spell it out. I can't do the Fairly Odd Parents joke. I can't do it. Which is my favorite.
Be the Cosmo to my Wanda, please.
My favorite. Jesus Christ. This is my last sentiment on the episode. My favorite joke from Fairly Odd Parents is AJ asks Timmy how to spell calculator, and Timmy goes CALC. You later, and then just walks away, and it's great. And I thought it was fantastic as a kid, and I think it is still fantastic. Oh my god. Yeah, that's it. That's all I got.
That's all you got? Okay. Let's get ice cream, and Liz, take it away.
Thank you for listening to The Say Report with your hosts, Dayle Decker and Zack. Please follow the guys on Twitter and Facebook by searching for The Say Report, and you can always subscribe on your podcast channel so this is delivered straight to you and you can enjoy it every week. With apologies to your mother, we'll see you next time.